Alright guys, it's Dokkan time again, and today we're going over the LR Broly, Cheelai, and Lemo, or the Broly Trio, as everyone calls them. So this particular unit, I see a lot of back and forth. I see a lot of people that are just like, just do full dodge. Like, that's all you need to do with them. I'm like, no, there's no reason to do that. So we're going to go over their newly EZA kit. First and foremost, I will show you what my preferred build is going to be, and that's actually going to be straight up crit. That's what my build is going to be for LR Trio once they finally EZA on Global, of course, because I'm a Global main. But I do play JP, and I do play a lot of this unit. I have tried this unit out quite a bit, and honestly, there's no reason to give him dodge because you need to get that 7 key spheres. Yes, you still have to use him the exact same way that you used them before. There's no difference other than the fact that they're just more usable now than they were before. Anyways, so there's a big change in between. As far as their leader skill seems unchanged almost. They just went up from a 130 to a 150 lead. The extreme fizz type part of their leader skill didn't even change, unfortunately. Don't know why they decided to do that. They did get quite a big difference in their super attacks, and their passive skill went from being, well, doubled. It doubled their passive skill. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. 12 key, surprise attack extreme, greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, and greatly lowers enemies' attack. That's actually very good considering the new blue zone Kaioken Blue Goku actually can have his attack lowered, so this is a very, very good unit for that fight, which is stage 3, I believe. On his 18 key, he massively raises attack and defense. Now, you would think, you know, the 12 key is greatly raising and the 18 key is 100% massively raising attack and defense. You would think their defense is going to be pretty nice. No, actually, their defense is pretty pitiful. Let's just go over to Halvard and take a look at the calculations so that we can just kind of get that done and over with. So start a turn defense. I mean, I wouldn't even say they have defense. I would say they basically have no defense before supering. And that's not a joke either. I would say they don't even have defense when they get enough orbs to dodge for free. Like, they just straight up have no defense. Anything below 400k defense is garbage defense. It's absolutely nothing. It does no help for you. You're just getting pounded by bosses nowadays with basic attacks, just normals coming at you with 500, 600, dang near 700k, and I mean, that's just not acceptable anymore. So but anyways, if you manage to collect 7 key spheres, let's say you're fighting the red zone Broly, so you can't dodge, then this defense would actually come into play and actually matter. If you manage to get a triple super, then you could get 1 million defense. Post super. That's if you actually get to the hidden potential to proc. More than likely, the hidden potential will not proc on most fights. I would say you'll maybe get a triple, I don't know. Out of the 4 times on average that you'd probably see them attack, you'd probably see it once or twice. So I would not bet on the triple going off. I would bet more on the double, as that's actually part of the passive. A double super would be 800, almost 900k with 7 key spheres obtained, which is very decent. That's not too bad, but he doesn't have damage reduction or anything, so, I mean, a 1 million super comes at you, 1.2 million, in fact. I mean, you're still getting to lose a good portion to, I don't know, half your health almost. So, there's that to keep in mind. But anyways, with 40% sword, yada yada yada, 1.1, yeah, etc. So, let's just go back to him. So, attack and defense, 30% per key sphere. An additional attack and defense plus 10% per physical key sphere. Additional key plus 2 for every key sphere obtained. Now, this is where it gets really funky. Like, this is where it gets really funky. All allies key plus 2, attack plus 39% with an AGL or STR key sphere obtained. All allies key +2 defense plus 39% with a tech or intelligence key sphere obtained. And all allies key +2 attack and defense plus 15% with rainbow key spheres obtained. So now the way that I read this part of his passive is that, let's say you collect a rainbow key sphere and an AGL key sphere. So just literally 1 and 2, just 2 key spheres, but it's a rainbow and an AGL. The way I'm looking at this and reading this is that you're going to get the attack buff and the rainbow key sphere buff at the same time. So you'll get a little bit of defense, but that would be mostly attack. You pretty much always want to go for tech, intelligence, or physical key spheres. Now, that means in this case, if you grabbed physical key spheres and then rainbow key spheres, your allies would only get the attack and defense plus 15%. So you got to kind of choose. Do you want to grab the physical key spheres to help out Broly more? Or do you want to grab the other types of key spheres to help out your allies? It's kind of a tough one. It's kind of a tough one to choose. You could get pretty strategic with it. You could. But the amount of teams you're going to be rolling with this Broly is going to be very limited. But anyways. Additional attack plus 39% when launching a super. Launch is an additional super, so that's guaranteed double. Damage reduced by 10% to all movie bosses or super bosses, category allies, when key is 24 or more. In my experience, you should be able to hit 24 key pretty easily. It shouldn't be too bad, but I wouldn't say it's going to happen all the time. 50% chance to dodge innately. Evades attacks if you have 7 or more key spheres attained, so auto dodge. And then random changes non-phys type key spheres to physical type when HP is 60% or lower, and then changes all key spheres to physical key spheres when HP is 39% or lower. So now keep in mind, this doesn't say once per turn. So that means every time your HP is 39% or below and the turn comes in with Broly, that procs. He grabs all key spheres. The thing about this is that it literally fills the field with physical key spheres. So you should put him in slot 1, grab all those key spheres. You're pretty much full on health. The likelihood that you're going to take enough damage to hit 39% and not be dead the next time around is probably pretty low, depending on the boss you're fighting. So there's that to keep in mind. You probably lost that health initially because you couldn't get 7 key spheres for this Broly. But I would say once you get this to proc, once you get the full field of orbs, this freaking unit is hitting a 30 million attack stat, and that's not a joke. I'm not exaggerating either. I'm dead serious at 30 million attack stat. To put in perspective, the new AGL Broly, the new like quote unquote best unit in the game, according to some people, at this dude's peak, at Rainbow, supported up, he's at like 25 million attack stat on his 18 key super. So, I mean, when you're telling me that this LR EZA trio right here that just got EZA'd, this 2020 unit that just EZA'd, can potentially hit 30 million attack stat and then 20 and 20, I mean, that's absurd. This is a very strong hitting unit if you have the orbs. But yeah, that's the part right there. It's the HP threshold. It's getting the 7 key spheres to evade. It's all RNG. It's all... You could try to calculate out a fight how it goes, but at the end of the day, these guys are so weak that they can't take a hit. That's something I really can't really express enough, is that yes, they have 50% chance to dodge, but unless they're grabbing that 7 key spheres, they're not surviving anything on slot 1. They're not surviving. You're getting killed because an AoE comes in and you didn't get the super first. AoEs will absolutely destroy this unit. You cannot take this unit against freaking Omega. You can't take this unit against Fusion Zamasu. I mean, you can, but you have to collect the 7 key spheres, or you have to bet on the fact that that 50% dodge is going to proc. I, for one, don't have good dodge luck. So by all means, if you so wish, go ahead, throw in your full dodge routine. That's entirely up to you. Personally, though, this is a glass cannon. And that's the way I'm going to treat him. He's a glass cannon. we hit below a certain HP threshold, I'm going to collect all the key spheres on the field, and then I'm going to watch Broly proceed to double or triple super the enemy and practically kill them, or leave them with barely any, if pretty much no HP left to go through. So, that's the way I'm going to treat them. So I'm giving them full crit. Personally, I'm going to give them full crit, give them a little bit of healthy additional, and I'm just going to say screw the dodge, because if they didn't get the 7 E-spheres to dodge, then they weren't going to live anyways. So, but anyways, guys, let me know how you're going to build Broly. Are you just going to try and make him a dodge tank like the majority of people have used him for years now? Or are you going to change him up and actually make him a glass cannon and beat the snot out of the enemy with a 30 million attack stat if you manage to stay alive at that HP threshold? Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day and a good night.